Hello, vinyl fans. Welcome to another episode of Let's Clean a Record. I am your cleaning guy. For today's video, we were inspired by a conversation down at the local used record store about what records warrant a more thorough cleaning process than others. And we thought it might be fun to pick a particular genre. For today, we're going to go with classical/romantic music and choose from our collection the top 5 records that warrant a thorough, proper cleaning. And in order to qualify, we said, first of all, it has to meet 4 basic criteria. Of course, it has to be a very high quality, great performance. It has to be a high quality recording, high quality mastering process, and a very high quality pressing, the disc itself. But then further, is the music such that you will be able to tell the difference between a dirty and a clean record? Are there quiet passages, long sustained notes? And of course, are we dealing with proper acoustic instruments recorded in an acoustic space that will allow you to hear that difference? So with that in mind, we went through our entire collection and came up with what we think are the top 5. We'll share them with you now, but we would love to hear from you. What records are in your collection that you think would most benefit from a thorough cleaning process? We'll stick with classical, and if you all like this, maybe we'll go to a different genre in a future episode. We're going to start off with one of my favorite records. This is Debussy. His music is such that it is really delicate at times, and you can definitely hear the difference between a clean and dirty record. This particular pressing is from 1970. It's an original West German pressing. Obviously, Deutsche Grammophon is the label, and this pianist is Tamas. Gorgeous, lovely stuff. I'd highly recommend this one. This is actually 6 different records. This is a reissue of the famous 1962 solo Bach recordings from Janos Starker. Wonderful recording, absolutely beautiful performance, and because we're dealing with a solo cello, you can hear everything. You can hear the kind of rosin he's using on his bow. If you have the original 1962 pressing, you have a treasure. Very hard to find these days in good condition. This is the reissue, 45 RPM reissue. Lovely recording, and it does, even though it's new, it absolutely benefits from a proper cleaning. Another neat thing about this you might try, if you have the 45, try playing it at 33. It sounds like a double bass, and it's wonderful. It's really lovely. That's a kind of a fun little different way to listen to this particular music. So that's our second choice. Number 3, this is 1956, a mono recording from 1956. It's a Columbia 6-eye pressing from David Oistrakh with his longtime pianist buddy Lev Oborin, I believe it's pronounced. They're playing Beethoven Sonata number 10. We listened to this. It definitely is in need of cleaning. This one is just such beautiful music, so gorgeous, so delicate. A fantastic candidate for a thorough cleaning. So we'll set that one aside, but I think that's the one that we're going to clean later today. I also thought it would make sense to do some chamber music with 4. Obviously, this is a quartet, so we're talking about 4 different instruments. This is 1960s. This was recorded in 1960, the Budapest String Quartet playing Beethoven's middle era quartets. Really beautiful. They do a lovely job. This is the stereo pressing. I wish I had the mono pressing, but I don't. If you do, maybe you can comment below and tell us what you think about it. But this one is very revealing of the instrumentation in the room at the time that this was recorded. So another great candidate for a thorough cleaning. And I wanted to pick one that wasn't necessarily such a minimalist recording. Then last, this is actually a ballet. So we're talking about a full orchestra, but at times during this piece, it gets so quiet and so delicate that it really is worth cleaning. And this particular record is a phenomenally well recorded. This is well known in audiophile circles as just a superior recording. This is the 1962 original UK pressing. I'm going to butcher the name. Fille, help me out. How does this pronounce? Say it one more time.
Fille mal Gardée.
There you go. I'm going to stick with the Wayward Daughter. In any case, it is a comic ballet. A very old one. I understand it was first performed back in like the 1780s or something like that, inspired by a painting, believe it or not. But this particular recording is so high quality. that if you can find yourself one, I definitely recommend it. The music is beautiful as well. I'd love to see the actual ballet sometime. Never have, but I think that might be cool. All right, so that is our top 5. What we will do, actually I'm going to take it out right now. This is the one that I'm keen to clean today. So let's get upstairs into the studio and let's clean this record. Okay, here's the approach we're going to take for our Beethoven album. Since this is an old record, almost 70 years old now, we thought we would go with an enzymatic solution. And for that, I've chosen AIVS number 15. It's both a record clean fluid and an enzymatic solution. And we're going to utilize it on the Oistrakh machine. We just love to use that machine. But we're also going to utilize another machine. Once we finish with the washing process, I'm going to put the record into the KL Audio and have it go through an ultrasonic cycle. But I will not use the drying cycle. Rather, we'll take it out wet, put it back onto the Oistrakh, and let the string machine take up the water off of the record. I've used that process before, and it works quite well, particularly for old records. So that's the plan. Let's get to it, and let's clean this record. We'll start with the Giotto Blaster. I like to start with the platter going in the reverse direction. We're going to go with a little over 3 milliliters, maybe 4 of the fluid. We'll sometimes use a spray bottle. I just didn't happen to have a spray bottle for this particular fluid. That's okay. This method will work. I just love the brushes that come with the Oistrakh machine. They are perfectly suited for the speed at which this platter turns. I've tried every one we have, and this is my favorite on the Oistrakh. We actually recently acquired another one, so we can have one for the record clean fluid and one for the pure water rinse. So in this case, we're going to utilize an ultrasonic for pure water. Because this is an older record, we're going to let it soak for a while. Let that enzymatic formula work in. So, I don't know, a couple, 2-3 minutes, and then we'll spin it again and maybe add a little bit more liquid before we actually bring it off the record. So, be back in a minute. Okay, it's had a few minutes to soak, so let's go ahead and agitate the liquid one more time. We'll add a little bit more record clean fluid, and then we'll bring it off the record. I like to put it just before the brush. Let's make sure we get the run-out groove. Ditto for the run-in. Okay, we'll clean that brush before we go to side 2. Let's engage the arm. Oh, by the way, we have already brought out a nice fresh piece of string by inserting it into that cup. So, clean string, pump on, arm is moving. We start in the reverse direction so it comes into the wand. And there you go. I like to let it hang at the edge of the record there for just a few more revolutions, as that's often the dirtiest place, fingerprints and all. I think that's good. Let's go ahead and turn off the pump. Now normally this would be the point in which you apply a pure water rinse and go through the same process, but since we're going to utilize the ultrasonic, I'm just going to go ahead and flip it now. clean side too. Doesn't hurt to ensure we have a clean bit of string. All right. Make sure our brush is clean. Not nearly as much agitation with the Oistrakh versus a normal suction type machine. It's because of the speed at which this platter spins. You really let the platter do most of the work, but a little bit of movement in the brush back and forth helps. We'll let that soak for a bit, let the enzymatic do its thing. As you can see, I put a little bit too much liquid on there, but that's okay, won't harm anything. We'll be back in a minute. Okay, she's had a few minutes to soak. I think there's plenty of record clean fluid on there. As you saw, we flung some off, which is fine, but I'm not going to add any more, but I do want to give it one more agitation. So let's first give the brush a bit of a clean. You really can't overdo it, cleaning the brushes in between stages. Always start in reverse. Let's make sure we have clean string. There we go. Engage the pump, engage the arm. Such a fun machine to use. Alrighty, next step then, let's get it into the KL audio. I think we'll do a 5-minute ultrasonic cycle, no drying, and then we'll bring it back onto the Oistrakh to bring off the water. Let's get to that. Okay, we have our clean and wet record. We're going to put it back down onto the Oistrakh platter. We do have a second rubber mat, so when we go to flip it on the other side, we'll just set the wet rubber mat aside and put the nice clean one on. Now we've already advanced the string, so we have a nice section, a nice clean section of the string. We'll start in reverse mode, arm and pump, just like before. Check that out. It got caught in the run-out groove. It'll eventually move over. There you go. Pump off, platter off. Now obviously on the other side of this record is still wet, as we can see, as is the rubber platter. So we'll go ahead and take that off, set it aside. Have a new clean one here ready to go. I want to make sure it lays flat. By the way, if you have a Oistrakh machine, you ever notice it rotating unevenly, it's very likely that this rubber platter isn't seated properly. Helpful hint. Okay. I like to just make sure it's taut. There you go. All right, looks great. Let's go give this one a listen and we'll let you know how she sounds. By the way, this record still has the original inner. You may have seen these before, and a classic from the era. We want to retain this, so what we will do, we never put it back into the dirty inner, and certainly not into one made of paper. We will insert one of these, a new plastic inner with a rounded bottom, often referred to as Japanese inners. They fit nicely into the old inner, and therefore we can keep it all original. But first we're going to listen to it. Okay, fellas, final thoughts, and for the record, I got to tell you, it was quite a enjoyable process to go through all of our classical records to try to pick a top 5 that are most deserving of a super deep clean. We must have gone through dozens and dozens of listening sessions until we came up with that list. Love to hear from you. What are your records that would be worthy of a super deep clean? Please do comment below. As far as the process that we went through for this Beethoven, it worked beautifully. I just love the combination of a Oistrakh string-type machine along with an ultrasonic bath. It does a great job. We just listened to this again. It was wonderful. Really enjoyed it. By the way, we'll have links below. If you're interested in the Oistrakh machine, we'll have links below to Ali Felibrico, who runs Water Music. He is the main distributor here in the United States. And we'll also put a link to Nellie Davis at Audio Federation. She can get you in touch with anyone if you're interested in that machine. Okay, guys, we'll see you at the next record.